All right, we just finished up in the spin room. We did a number of candidates. I lost track of whether we did 4 or 5, and it. First of all, it was actually my first spin room after all these years, and it was kind of fun. They really are those scrums. I rarely ever, in interviewing so many people and being in these situations, not on the presidential level, but in other levels, rarely ever see that movie moment where all the reporters are shouting questions at once. This is it. It turns out this is where it happens. And so I had to outshout a couple of reporters. In the beginning, I think I was kind of timid. It's just kind of funny. But I think I got my voice by the end and outshouted some folks. And, there's another interesting part of this, which is that I wear 2 hats. I do analysis, as you saw in the beginning of the night, about who I think won and who I think did better than others. But then I also have to come here and ask them questions and do that in a way that is objective and straight, and give them an opportunity to speak for themselves. So a couple of interesting moments out of the interviews that we did in the spin room. Tim Ryan went back after Tulsi Gabbard and said, hey, she went and talked to Assad, so I don't think she's an expert on foreign policy. So that was a really interesting moment. It seems like their little exchange on the floor of the debate did not sit well with him. So that was an opportunity for him to come back at her, and he did. So you can make of that what you want, and whichever side of that debate that you're on. But I'm glad we gave him an opportunity to voice his opinion a little bit more thoroughly. Obviously, they get a very small chance here to react. I also, when it's on the debate stage, because they have 60 seconds or 30 seconds, I also asked him if he'd be Labor Secretary, and he said yes. So now, with some reservations, again, you can watch the interview, but that's an interesting moment. And that certainly could happen here, where a lot of these candidates obviously are not going to win. 23, and actually now there's 25 of them, so 24 of them will not win. But some of them could be in the cabinet, and so part of what they're doing here is fighting like hell to win the presidency. Another thing that they're doing is setting themselves up for positions in the cabinet of whoever does win. So when Inslee goes and stakes his ground on the environment, it's genuine. He really cares about the environment, and he's been talking about that his whole life. But would he be the head of the EPA, as I asked him? Well, that's an interesting possibility, and that certainly could be the case. And if you're looking for someone who cares about the environment, Governor Inslee would be a very logical choice. So Tulsi Gabbard talked about war during the debate, and she's anti-war. So she stakes her ground on that issue. We just talked to Secretary Castro, and he obviously is very strong on immigration. So what you might be seeing here, both on the debate stage and what you saw in the spin room, is not just people running for president, but people who might be future cabinet members. Obviously, it depends on who wins, but here they are making a case that they are the strongest on those issues. And for guys like Castro and de Blasio, they got a chance to prove that tonight because they were very strong and very aggressive. You don't have to agree with every one of their policies to know that they came out swinging, and they most certainly did. So it was good to catch up with them to get fuller explanations of what they were talking about tonight on the debate stage.